you down with OTC? Are you down with OTC? OTC. Are you down with OTC? Are you down with OTC? OTC. Are you down with OTC? Down with OTC. Down with OTC.
Hey, welcome to On the Chain.
Chain live, Jeff.
Live.
On the Chain live.
We're live, man. Yesterday we had an amazing conversation with John Deaton, who is taking on the SEC. We dug into that case. Today, we're going to get a little bit into the Ripple response to the SEC overreach, going into the personal aspects of two of the key people over there at Ripple. Also want to get into, and we're going to dig in to mainstream adoption of cryptocurrency, be it Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, XLM. I don't know, one of the many, many digital assets out there as it gets more impactful into retail, corporations, banks, and government. We have smart contracts, NFTs, and so much more. We're going to talk about all that and maybe more.
Right now.
Welcome to On the Chain with Jeff and Chip.
Whoa,
Hey,
whoa, whoa,
welcome
whoa,
back.
whoa.
Man,
Yeah.
Chip, today is St. Patrick's Day.
It is.
And we were out at the field today, and we had
Nice.
a number of pints of Guinness. It was an enjoyable lunch. Spent about 3.5 hours over there. So I thought it would be great to start off today with a brief toast. What do you
Okay.
think?
Let's
You
do
got
it.
anything to toast with over there?
Sure.
So I just
Water.
I like this one. Here's one. May your glass be ever full. May the roof over your head be always strong. And may you be in heaven half an hour before the devil knows you're dead.
Very nice.
Cheers.
I got one of my favorite toasts coming up as well. So an Irish toast. By the way, well, on my mom's side, I am Irish. My Hugh and Hattie Neary are my great grandparents. They came over from Ireland, the Great Potato Famine, and so I have a little bit of Irish heritage in there, which is awesome. Italian and Hungarian. So there you are, man. It's a little mixed bag of all kinds of stuff. And it was so much fun having John Deaton on last night. What people don't know is we talked for another hour, like off camera, man. We just couldn't stop. We were just like tearing into all kinds of cool stuff, man. I was like, we should have kept the cameras rolling, but
oh, that would have been great. And we really dug into a lot more afterwards. We had a nice hour and a half with him on air. I mean, that was like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, that was really good. And oh, man, I'll tell you what, just fulfilling. So today marks exactly 1 year since our office went virtual. It was actually March 17th, 2020, that our whole office said, hey, yeah, let's take a little bit of break. Let's go home and we'll work for remote for a little bit, and everybody we'll see you back in a couple weeks. Flatten the curve, Jeff, just flatten the curve a little bit. And then,
how's that going for you?
Well, it's going well. I mean, everyone's enjoying working remotely, but kind of miss some of that camaraderie. But again, what an amazing day. And today also happens to be 1776, the birth of the United States. Jeff's saying, well, how the hell is that? Because today is the 17th of March, the 76th day of the year, 1776, Jeff.
Wow, there you go.
Yeah,
nice.
People find a lot of things to do with numbers, 3 plus 7 plus this plus that, but that must mean this, and if that happens, right?
As long as it's at the 30th second. Okay.
There you go. You see, and people have superstitions too. Everyone has superstitions. Like, I'm wondering if anyone has any superstitions around their bag. I'd like to hear from you guys in the comments. Like, in other words, if you buy a certain total of digital assets, could it be like if it was rounded up, could it be an even number or an odd number? Are people weird like that? Is it like, oh no, it can't end at an even number. I have to top it off, or I have to do this, or it has to be a certain number, or I'm just curious if there's any of that weirdness going on out there, because everybody, 1 plus 3 plus 3 equals XRP moon. Yeah, all kinds of weird stuff like that. There's all kinds of things in the numbers. And then, some people, they just specialize in the numbers. John Doe, 1776.
It's kind of like, Chip, if you're at the gas pump, when you're filling with gas, can you just end it, or do you have to end it off on a round number?
Well, I always have to pump that a little bit more, just because I want to make sure that little bit goes in there. You know what I mean? Because like if that's just that little bit more, I don't have to visit a gas station or petrol, as you guys say elsewhere. If it's just that much longer. But now what I'm super psyched about is now everywhere I go, I mean, actually the gas station by me is I just use my phone. I go and authorize it, because I'm getting hacked all the time at that gas station. So see, 187 means murder, and 1776 minus 1187 equals 589. Yeah, I knew the numbers worked out something like that.
There you go.
Dancing bears and bullish and all that kind of stuff.
That kind of pawn has to get that round number when he pumps gas.
Yeah, it's like the same with bags or something like that. If you get a bag, you have to realize, 58,900 is a good amount to have. Yeah, I mean, but there's always that something, when you walk in, it's like some people are like superstitious, step on a crack, break your mother's back, all kinds of weird stuff like that.
How about like when you walk into the room and the clock is 11:11? Have you done that? I always get that round number. And it always seems like I look at the clock and it's 11:11. And it's bizarre.
Yeah, I've woken in the middle of the night at weird numbers too. And I wanted to throw this up there. GDLT, thank you very much for the super sticker. And it's a smiley guy with sunglasses. Unfortunately, we don't see that in our software. But
Cameron's saying neither of us are wearing green. And actually, I tried to put green on, and I became see-through. So.
No, I don't wear green. That's the last day I wear. I don't wear green. Just don't.
I had a green hat, but it became see-through on here, so couldn't do it.
Irish. I don't need to. I'm all good. It's all good.
So it's all good. It's all good. Man, where do you want to start, man? There's so much to cover. There's a lot going on in this public economic financial space. News all over the place. From Morgan Stanley. We have, here's a one that just popped up. And I think we've talked about Revolut before.
Yeah.
Revolut is pulling out of Canada.
Interesting.
Yeah. So here you go. Leaving. They're saying goodbye to Canada.
Bye-bye.
They're all over the place, but no longer in Canada. It's a British startup, and that's it. They're suspending their Canadian operations. There's obviously something else going on over there, but it's been there for a year and a half. Revolut seemed like it was going to be interesting. Right now, and a couple months ago, they had, there was some news that they were looking for a banking license over in the UK, which would be, that'd be key. Obviously we talk about this a lot, Chip, that we're looking at the banks trying to get into crypto, or the crypto platforms going to get into banking, first. Who's going to do it? Check this one out real quick. This is Morgan Stanley. Let me see if I can put this up real fast.
Awesome up there, Jeff. Let's see what they got to say there.
There we go. Check this one out. So Morgan Stanley becomes the first big U.S. bank to offer its wealthy clients access to Bitcoin funds.
There you go. And with Bitcoin, will that also bleed over, are they saying? Or will it bleed to other things? Yeah, two of the funds from the Galaxy Digital, a crypto firm founded by Mike Novogratz, also famous for purchasing a lot of Ether back in the day, Jeff. Remember that?
Yep. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this statement. What does this tell you? Right here, and this is something, Chip, that we've talked about. What is the one thing that the brick and mortars, the old guard, are trying to do? They're trying to make sure that only their wealthy clients have access to the big investments. The same thing that the SEC is doing in their protection of people, of the investors. They only want to make sure that those that have a certain value, liquidity, net worth, whatever you want to call it, over a certain number. Here, same thing with Morgan Stanley. Look at this. It's only suitable for people with an aggressive risk tolerance, and you have to have at least $2 million in assets held by Morgan Stanley.
But you see the way they spin that? They put that aggressive risk tolerance in there because that's how they're going to qualify the fact that only you have to have at least minimum 2 million held in assets by the firm. And again, it's very exclusionary, isn't it? It's like this is only for the elite because it's so aggressively risk. This is the kind of thing. You're right. This is it's interesting, but again, if they're betting on it because they believe in it, but again, it's just only for their upper echelon, right?
That's it, man. That's all. That's what they wanted. It's the first U.S. bank to do this. That tells you a lot, because the wealthy, you're not gonna, start putting money in if it's going away, just like we've seen with Michael Saylor and many of the others. The timing of it is very interesting. Especially when we see the SEC tripping over themselves and tripping over their untied shoelaces. With as it comes to Ripple and some of these other cases.
Yeah, and I have to say, the whole DeFi space is interesting. There was one project that we were going to talk about the other night, but I didn't really get to because I've identified there's probably more of a computer issue what's going on with my browser, and because I did upgrade my, there's some weird thing going on. I haven't been able to 100% pinpoint it, but there's something up. But anyway, I want to talk about this Revolution Populi project right here. And there's a token sale going on right now, but unfortunately the token sale is going outside the US. You wonder why, Jeff? Because
go figure.
Yeah, figure, right? So 900 million RVP, 45% of the total supply will be allocated pro rata to all senders of ETH, right? And this is a really interesting project that I started following since its inception. So I got an email on this the other day. There's only 11 hours left in the token sale. The distribution reflects the number of RVP tokens available in the current auction that'll be distributed after the auction closes. Of course, it's not compliant here in the US because we don't have any sort of guidelines as to what you can do with a token sale, right? And what I really like about this project is the ambition to return digital sovereignty back to the people. A blockchain, they're talking about decentralized blockchain database of user controls, for DeFi and crypto clearing, yield generating settlements, the community opens ecosystem for apps from social games to financial, and for a platform for social nets, blockchain compatible open source, social net components. And it's really amazing. There's a really cool team behind this. Facebook and Google have been traditional power wielding by the secret police forces throughout history. And that's David Gellinter, and he's one of the founders right here. He's the chief visionary officer, from Yale University. You have another 19-year veteran out of Goldman Sachs named Rob Rosenthal. He's the CEO. Then you've got Paolo Coppola. He's a entrepreneur, physician, engineer, and Academy Award-winning film producer who co-founded Stat Health Urgent Care Systems. And then you got, of course, so it's a really cool team. I love this team. And then finally, you got the clearinghouse advisor, who Gary Chan, who's the CEO of digital platform services at J.P. Morgan. Also serves as
J.P. Morgan.
Also serves JP as senior blockchain advisor for initiatives. So there you go. It's a cool team. They're looking to take your data and keep it your data. You take your own data back, and your data is your resource. So this whole revolution, Populi, is a really cool thing. I wish that we could absolutely. There's a good white paper on it too. You can read here. I'll drop in the chat. But anyway, it was an exciting project because it'll be interesting to see where this puppy goes.
Whoa, just like that. Offline, kick him out. Get rid of him. All right. So in the absence of Chip, let's see if he can come back. Let's see what he clicked.
I did click the wrong thing. I was like clicking something, and I'll click myself right. You know how you can.
How you get rid of him. I said, kick him out. There you go.
Know how you swipe. You know how you swipe the trackpad. I swiped it. I swiped it right on the back button. I was like, I meant to swipe up, and I swiped left.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what that's happening.
Hey, somebody brought up. Have you seen the new commercial from Swift?
Yeah.
You had sent that to me. Where was that? I know I watched it.
Yeah, it looks an awful lot like. I can find it. We can play
it. A link to it. Where was that? Was it on YouTube or?
No, it was actually.
Remember where it was?
It was actually on Twitter that I saw it. Because I told Jeff to watch it. I'm like, hey Jeff, watch this. What does this look like to you? And what was your first? I didn't say anything, but what did you think when you?
As soon as we got done, I wrote Jeff. I said, man, it sounds an awful a lot like they're working with one of the crypto blockchains. It sounds an awful lot like RippleNet. Yeah, and then we said, well, it could be R3. It could be one of the platforms. The one thing that we're sure of is that Swift isn't building something themselves.
No,
because they came out with their was it their GPI or whatever it was, and had nothing to do with anything.
But
this one sounded
The commercial itself sounds an awful lot like they're either plugging into something like R3, because they talk about new resources. Here it is, right here.
You got it?
I do. Put that up. Yeah, let's put it up. Let me
enjoy that one.
Hang on a second. Let's go ahead.
We got a comment on it throughout.
Make sure I share how this is, Jeff, with sharing the right browser tab and including the sound. This one is, there we go. And let's do this and
do the sound.
Let me know if you hear sound though. Hang on a second. Let me go like this. Tell me if you hear sound.
All right. Yep.
Together, we are at the heart of the global financial system. We move the transactions that keep the world's economies working. Transactions that represent real business ambitions and the livelihoods of our friends and family. What we do underpins the world's way of life. Today, that way of life is changing faster than...
What'd you say, Jeff?
I said pause up for a sec. Okay. What do you think? Just the start, just the voice. What do you think about the voice?
I like it, man. I think it's a very it's got sort of a it's got like a post-apocalyptic sort of like a feel to it. You know what I mean? It's like it's almost like the female version in a world of death and gloom. That whole thing. It's like every movie trailer in a world of frustration and fantasy. It's like one of these type of things. With that voice, it just lulls you into a little dream, and the dreamy pictures of people walking by.
Yeah, and the little it reminds me of the Terminator.
Yeah, and the little plumes of light being guided down. It's something else, man. Whoever did this commercial for him did a nice job. But let's continue on.
Than ever. At Swift, we are evolving too. We use our expertise to help our community move faster and work smarter. Payments and securities transactions should be instant, frictionless, and transparent. They should have end-to-end integrity and global reach. This is
Yeah, kind of like XRP, right, Jeff? Ripple and XRP, kind of like R3, right?
Exactly. They said they were showing payment complete, so they're hinting at settlement. They're talking about speed of transaction. Right now we know that Swift is anything but speedy. It's interesting. They're using the image. As you're thinking about this is a financial, commercial or a commercial for a financial program, and yet you're getting the idea of the skating, and the guy getting ready to run. So you're feeling like this is an energetic, platform, and it's going to get you there.
Speed, right?
It's for speed, right? You're getting the speed out of it. It's interesting so far.
The entire process should be driven by smart data and shared services.
Smart data.
To unlock huge opportunities.
Huge.
To help you strengthen and
And the music, Jeff, what does the music sound like to you?
Dude, the music is just like
It's a little Stranger Things for me, man. It's a little Stranger Things vibe. A little Stranger Things vibe. It's like you get lulled into this like post-apocalyptic world.
It's exactly what I keep thinking. From the first time I saw it. I mean, you dig in and you listen to it, and you're like, okay, this is, you're getting the idea that they're coming out with this brand new platform. But if you weren't in this space, even in the financial space, you'd be watching this commercial like, what are they talking about? And, is the world about to end? Is it because of what we just went through? Is it going to get worse? Are they what are they talking about? The digital data and all of this stuff,
Yeah, and the focus is on athletes too, right? So you have a gymnast, you have a runner, you have a skater, right? So you're dealing with things that require strength and speed and certainly a certain fitness acumen, right? Let's continue on here. We're about halfway through.
Yeah.
existing markets and open bold new possibilities for the future. We've laid the foundations through game-changing services and technologies that are already transforming the industry.
Right there, Jeff. We're laying that are game-changing services and technology that are already changing transforming the industry, right? What does that mean? That means they're already probably existing things that they're plugging into. It's got to be something like R3. They don't have the capability for this.
They definitely don't. Now they're showing a solar farm. As they're talking about the innovation and the capabilities. I would love to have the intro to the Terminator, with a kind of like or a nuclear waste, this voiceover
Skynet,
going on.
And that's Skynet right there, man.
It sounds like the whole conversation over Skynet. I swear the voice is just off, I don't know.
It's just so dreamy, Jeff.
It's so dreamy, right? Dreamy and post-apocalyptic. I love it.
There we go. Yeah, let's finish this off. The weird thing is, you notice on the phone where it's like they're talking about the future, and that old 1970 logo comes up. It's with the tired little like planet thing with the capital SWIFT, the Swift logo. And it's like, oh gosh, that's so tired. Like, you guys couldn't innovate your logo. I mean, you couldn't bring it into at least the 80s or maybe 90s. I don't know. Let's go.
Now, we're going even further, taking innovation to the next level by transforming the Swift platform with new capabilities, so you can reduce costs and offer increased value to your customers.
Reduce costs. Interesting, huh?
Reduce costs, and now you're seeing completion. So they're talking about settlement. So you have the gymnast that went through the beginning of the routine right to the end of the routine. The runner starting, finishing, getting timed, getting there fast. They're bringing in all the imagery. I mean, it's it's interesting how they're just the mind play here.
Yeah, it's a solid commercial. There's a lot of great edits here and cuts and music.
We are delivering the infrastructure to help you adapt, thrive and grow, and together, shaping the future of payments and securities faster, smarter, better.
Faster, smarter, better.
I don't get the smarter on the landing on the balance beam. The smarter, that part didn't. I get the faster with the guy running. The smarter
Well,
landing
it's not
on
all,
the balance
but it's
beam.
not all literal
I
though.
don't
It's
get
not.
that
It's all imagery to kind of take you through this beautiful world where they're making everything faster, better, smarter.
Yeah, and they brought the kid in there to show that it's, they're young or they're focused on the future.
Right, it's a kid running up the hill until they find out there's a big giant gorge and a cliff on the other side. Let's see. There's the silly
Wait.
logo again.
There's their logo. They control the world.
It's
Maybe
a
it
good
is
commercial.
Skynet.
I mean, overall, I thought it was a very compelling, advert, just in the sense that it's well cut together. They do a good job. It almost seems like they're overselling it a little bit, though. Talking about faster, cheaper, better payments, quick. Talking about settlement, voices distract, tone vase would have been a better. I'm not so
like
sure
this
about
one.
that.
They needed Morgan Freeman.
Well, Morgan Freeman would have if Morgan Freeman, my God, that would have crushed it right there.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah, that would have crushed it. Yeah, it does sound a lot like XRP or R3, right? I mean, it sounds a lot like that.
It's right there. Yeah. Yep. But the writing was on the wall for them. Yeah, they've realized that, they're sitting on the sideline. I mean, obviously behind the scenes, those guys have been orchestrating and planning and plotting and just making a determination. Is blockchain really going to be the next technology? Is crypto really going to make the impact? And I think over this past year, with everything that we just went through and the timeline of everything that's been sped up, I believe that Swift is now, the timing of it being released right now and going into this new phase, they've spent, maybe the past 6 months or so orchestrating this, even though they've thought about it previously. They potentially were ignoring it because they had their original solution, their GPI, that just wasn't, was kind of so-so.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about it is, I think that I think Swift got kind of caught with their proverbial pants down, right? So they realize, you almost realize when it's too late. Whatever they did, they hired a good marketing agency to try to sell it. And they also talk about the technology as they're leveraging something existing out of the box. But they do advertise the fact that, because this looks to me this is really geared towards banks, right? Because they talk about your customers will have, faster, better, less expensive sort of transmissions. I don't know, man. I think they did a really nice job on it. It's like, it kind of shocked me when I first saw it, because when I watched it, I'm like, what? And I'm like, I got to get Jeff's opinion on this. And Jeff watched it. He had a similar type of an expression, coming out of it. But no, they did a nice job on it. It's like, you almost feel like that would have made a nice commercial for Ripple, right? For their technology and how they're able to do things faster, quicker. It almost seems like they're playing into that. And if we didn't said, who is this a commercial for? You might not have guessed it was going to be Swift. You got that one little logo flash.
You know what? Some of the verbiage behind it. Do you have our original intro video that we made for On the Chain?
I do. I can pull that up, man. Let's go ahead and pull that
one up, man. That was an awesome one.
Yeah, this was our first video that it's actually on the other On the Chain channel. So
is it? Oh yeah, that's right. It is over there. That's right.
So, but one of the things that Jeff and I talked about is we wanted to have like a video that sort of like introduced the let's see, is it on that channel, Jeff? I thought it was on that channel.
It's somewhere, right? It must be on YouTube. I can pull it up.
I'm on YouTube right now.
Oh, I don't know.
But I thought it was on that main page when you go to the main page, and it's not there unless
I don't remember.
Oh, you know why? Because what was it called? What was it? Oh, it was on our website too. What was the name of that website? Why am I having like a brain fade right now? What was the name of the thing though? What was it called?
No.
The video. We'll look for it. We'll get to it. Here it is right here. I got it. Let's look at it right here.
Should know.
Let me.
Hey, what was our video called? Who knows?
It was called "What Is on the Chain," but I typed in 400 years because I knew that was part of it.
Yeah.
Remember, I remember, so Jeff and I wrote the script and we're like, yeah, let's do this thing. And I don't know how many people saw it, but yeah, it's kind of interesting, Jeff, that let me do the tab. Let's do this. Let's share the audio. Let's share it. And let's go to, let me get rid of the commercial first because
That has nothing to do with our video.
no, I don't want to put that up there. It's like,
That's
what
me
the-
shaving my head.
That's what it looks like. Okay, so this was our commercial that we did for On the Chain, and it's interesting. So let's put this up there.
A new technology has taken root. A technology that has mesmerized the world. It's the backbone of the first new asset class in over 400 years. Thought leaders have said that it is not just evolutionary, it is revolutionary. And it can all be found on the chain.
That's awesome. Dude,
It's still
there
pretty
you go.
damn. It's still pretty awesome, man. I gotta say, I still like it. It's pretty cool. All right,
That
get
was
some
a- that was
feedback from
pretty good.
get some feedback from the crew there.
That was pretty good. It was people like that. Yeah, that was awesome, man. And it's interesting too because you look at that and we don't have all the people running around and all that stuff, but you get but it's exciting, right? I mean, it's good.
Yep. I apparently froze again.
Oh, you're frozen. Yes, you're frozen.
There's something wrong with this Chrome browser, man. It is absolutely destructive.
Yeah, and then what's funny, then all of a sudden you speed up real fast. You're like frozen. Oh, there he goes. We lost him. Oh, we lost him. He'll be back. It'll be back. All right. So while we're in his absence until he gets back,
It's
gonna
easier.
be
It's
enjoyable.
easier just to go and get out of there, you know.
it is. Yeah, just jump out. Yeah, come right back.
Because
yeah.
I don't know, like my browser locks up and it just goes like I have nothing open on my computer except the two screens. That's it. So it's very strange.
Yeah.
But I did want to point out this right here. Let's see how long this lasts for, Jeff. But I saw Flare community threw this out there, and this is actually pretty exciting for the community because it says Wanchain's bringing DeFi to XRP. Great news for those who are wondering. The Flare network is much bigger than XRP. The value is derived from the ability to scale and trustlessly mint assets on a network which has a built-in Oracle system, which that Oracle deals with off-chain stuff. So you can build so this is the actual, this is Wanchain right here. It's an interoperability platform that enables decentralized transfer of digital assets between siloed blockchains. So kind of like the same thing that my extensions are, I don't run virus programs, but I do run, I have a couple extensions, but I'm going to kill them all next time because there's something that's hanging this up. I'm going to kill everything. And kind of like the same way you have interoperability between, blockchains, they're doing similar to what Ripple, is how it's leveraging XRP for the interoperability with over 55,000, fiat currencies and crypto. So that's pretty.
Where's Wanchain from?
I don't know. I'm not sure where they're from. Let's go look at it. Let's go check them out. Let's go looky see, shall we?
All right, yeah, let's take a look.
Wanchain
see.
5 is live. Let's see where they're at. I don't know. I see.
What was the
English
one
up
that we were
here.
looking at the other day? I can't remember. And they were
It
in
might be-
Singapore.
Yeah, well, I see right there. I can see where they might be from. I think it might be from China because it looks like to me that looks like so I see the flag right there. So what they're doing is they are I don't know what DYK is. Did you know? Did you know that Wanchain is bringing XRP into the DeFi fold? Did you know that our XRP integration brings brings Turing complete smart contracts to Ripple?
What do you have to start everything off with? Did you know?
XRP would be able to interact with other integrated chains like EOS and Ether and Bitcoin, of course, Wan. That XRP holders will be able to hold dApps like WanSwap, WanLend, and FinNexus. So this is getting pretty exciting, man. Wanchain is the first decentralized blockchain interoperability solution to bring all these use cases to XRP holders. So it just keeps getting better and better. Full Ripple integration launching at the end of the month. Bam. 21.1 XRP. So that's pretty exciting, man. I mean, it's like we keep getting more, better, cooler. You know, it's just like, it just never stops. And it's like, meanwhile, you got this lawsuit going on over here, right? It's like, oh, is it a security? I don't think so.
Where? Yeah. Where?
Yeah.
We don't know. Where? We don't. It's so, you know, could you imagine sitting in on one of these, you just sit in on a session at the, in the financial services committee? I just can't.
By the way,
knowing some of the things.
Against my better judgment today, I watched a Senate hearing. I went in there, I started watching the Senate hearing, and it was about now are they confirming Gary Gensler? No. Are they looking at the token token taxonomy? No. What are they talking about, Jeff? They're talking about the crisis of unfair, what was it called? What are they calling it? They had some really but a bizarre name for it. For the inequality in pay. It's just not fair, Jeff. So they're doing a whole hearing on this.
And that's what they love to bloviate. That's what they sit around and do. They don't do anything that is impactful to what needs to be done. You know, I mean, it was just absolutely hard to watch on so many levels. And then I started watching and I go, and they're going on, it's just not fair. And then they were reading all their talking points. And then one guy showed a bunch of charts. And then the other guy said, yeah, but just stop the charts here at this year. But look, if you look what's happening, the separation. It's been trending up for the last 10 years. And it was like, everyone's like, okay. He's like, and look at this thing. If you look at it, the last 8 years, it's been heading in the right direction. So would I call it a crisis? No. And I'm thinking, are you freaking for real? Why don't you guys take up something of interest that's actually going to help Americans? I'm like, they're working on the filibuster, Chip.
Well, they're talking about they're talking about inequality. You got the greatest wealth transfer in the history of the world called, digital assets. And they're sitting there, going around and around about it. The one senator got close to it. I thought he was going to bring it in. He goes, what we ought to focus on? He said something about wealth. He goes, we have stocks. And then he stopped there. And that was it.
Yeah, they have stock.
And I was like, stocks?
They have the inside track.
He was like, yeah, we have stocks. I'm like, oh, please, man, please. So it was a little bit painful to watch that. I was like,
it's brutal.
They're wasting so much time, Jeff. I don't know what they're doing in Congress. They're not doing anything of any importance. Like, what you're supposed to be representing people. Meanwhile, we've been screaming for years, like, hey, man, let's do this.
Useless, man. Useless. Check this out. You know about eToro, right? You know about Kraken. So Kraken is talking about going public next year. eToro is now getting ready as well. If there's the SPACs have been around for a while. What is it called? Like a special, I forget what it stands for. Special something company or something like that.
But it's basically when you don't have to. It's like an IPO, but you go outside of the system. You find private investors.
Merger with a special purchase. Why can't I remember what the SPAC stands for? Anyhow, so eToro,
special purpose acquisition company, also known as a blank check company and a shell corporation listed on a stock exchange, which the purpose of acquiring a private company, thus making it public without going through the traditional IPO process.
Correct. So there's all these new ways, relatively new ways, so to speak. Instead of doing an IPO, you have the direct listings, which we saw like Palantir, Spotify, Coinbase, which is going to do a direct listing. They haven't listed yet. Roblox, which listed a week ago, direct listing. And then you have the SPAC, and eToro is now doing this merger. So what happens is they do a merger with a SPAC, and then eventually it becomes one, and it becomes it becomes eToro listed on the exchange. So as they're getting ready to do it, here you have, another one. So you have Coinbase getting ready to do it. They're going. Kraken's talking about it. eToro's talking about it. This is mainstream adoption in the crypto space. So these are the crypto companies finding their methodology to get in front of the public, not just from a crypto perspective, but as soon as you do a listing on NASDAQ and you go public, then you're bringing that 100% mainstream, because now you're opening it up to everybody. And now all of a sudden people see these listed up there, and you see a valuation of 10 billion. You have Coinbase. What's their listing? Like 200, 300 billion dollars or something like that. The valuation right now. I mean, it's crazy.
It's insane. It's insane.
So, but think about that. Think about the value of some of these banks out there. These guys have just been around for a short period of time. They're accumulating a huge amount of value to where they're going to overshadow banks. And the writing's on the wall right now. If you want to go mainstream, they get it. You have to go onto the exchange. You have to. That brings you mainstream. Huge influx of cash into their coffers. Then the sky's the limit. Acquisition city. They start acquiring banks. Banks are trying to get there, like we we're talking about with Morgan Stanley, but they don't get it. They're only worried about their wealth. Their wealthy clients. They don't get it. They don't see what's going on over here.
No, I think they're missing a lot of it for sure. Yeah, they're missing a lot of it, man. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of. Well, here's the thing about what this means for everybody. Everyone's going, okay, yeah, mass adoption. But, if you're into stocks and all of a sudden you start seeing some of the funds that you're into, or you see this new stock show up. So the first one that's going to put on everyone's radar is going to be Coinbase, right? But then you've got eToro, you got Kraken. Now what that's doing is just getting that out into like commonplace. Oh, these are exchanges. I mean, Coinbase is really the first exchange to really go public and be on a public company. So then you're going to have others to follow. These other ones, it's just going to get out there in the vernacular. That's what you want people talking about. You want people like, oh, because before it was like, but does anybody really know what an exchange is? Like I had a great buddy from college, my best buddy. I've been talking to him, like he finally, that whatever thing hit him is like, hey man, I got to go into digital assets. I'm going in. Yeah, I want your advice. So we started talking a little bit about it. And he says, well, okay, what exchange do I use? I said, I will send you a couple that I would recommend. He goes, but which one should I go with? I'm like, well, I can't tell you which one to go with. You got to do a little bit of your own research. Now, here's the ones that I use, right? I use these two. He goes, but which one do you do better? And it's like, I'm not going to give you that. I got to tell you, there's probably pros and cons to everything. But I always kind of point people to Coinbase. So I sent him an article from like CNBC or one of these financial networks talking about the big IPO, right? They're not IPO and they're doing some SPAC or whatever direct listing they're doing, I think. And he's like, yeah. So that's a true story, man. Calls me back. He pings me back and he goes, listen, I can't do it. I'm like, well, what not? Why not? He goes, there's no phone number. There's nobody to talk to. I'm like, what? He goes like, I want to talk to somebody. There's no phone number. I can't put a bunch of money over there with nobody I can talk to. I'm like, well, you can't talk to anybody at Google either. But he goes, oh, I don't do anything with Google. I'm like, okay, but my point is there's a lot of companies like this. Be a little more old school. And he's like, oh, there's no phone number. What am I going to do? And I'm thinking to myself, well, it's up to you. But everybody has like that level of comfortableness, right? And I'm like, well, there's Uphold. I like Uphold a lot too. Check out Uphold. And turns out after a lengthy conversation, we kind of finally started pinpointing what he was attempting to do. It was a little bit different once I got everything out there. But that's what some people's level of comfort is, right? They're like, oh, no phone number, I'm out. That's it. I'm out. I can't do it. And that's fine because I'm not going to tell somebody. He goes, oh, no, man, I won't put it on you. I'm like, he goes, but what happens if they just close shop? I'm like, well, they have insurance. What happens if the insurance doesn't work? I'm like, we all have these questions, man. We all think about this stuff, but at some point, he goes, then he asked me the one word, who do you trust? And I'm like, I don't trust anybody. I'll be honest with you. That's why I have a lot of stuff split up. That's why I have, things moved around. I mean, because at the end of the day, and he goes, well, I said, do you really trust the bank you're with? Do you really think they're not going to go out? He goes, yeah, but they're protected FDIC. I'm like, that's only the first $250,000. What about after that? And I go, and do you really think the government that's going broke, that has fiat that's dropping in value every single day is going to be there for you? I said, I have worse nightmares about the fallout of banks before I have the fallout of crypto. I mean, crypto, I don't see going out anytime soon. It's just going to continue to get more prominence and more adoption. Thoughts?
That's right. No, exactly. I think it's interesting because I went through a similar process with a friend of mine, helping him get into, crypto and going through the different exchanges. We start off with Coinbase, got onto Coinbase, got comfortable there, moved over to Uphold, got comfortable there, moved over to Celsius, got relatively comfortable there, moving some of the assets around. It's definitely a process. And there is a level of comfort with it. And one of the things my friend said to me, he goes, God, if you weren't here walking me through this process, this is it's difficult. It's not easy, right? Because you're moving, let's say you want to move asset from Coinbase to Uphold, or Uphold to Celsius, or Coinbase to Celsius.
Yeah.
How do you do it? And then you're looking at it and you're like, all right, I got to copy this address. Now I got to go over here and I got to paste it over here. Now I have the two-step authentication. Now I got to go get that two-step. Is it on my phone? Is it a fingerprint? Is it a 6-digit with a Google authenticator? There's all these things going on as you're moving it around. And typically, if you put money in a bank, or you're on your Fidelity or whatever exchange that you're trading your stock on, you're not moving around too much.
No.
You have your bank connected to it. You move your money over. It happens behind the scenes. You're not copying addresses back and forth. Then, you're worried. So do you send $10 over at first and then the 10,000 or 1,000 or 5, whatever amount you're moving over? Do you just move up everything at once? Copy, move the address, send it. Because what happens? I mean, what if
it's scary, man.
You're copying it. So what if the second time you copy, you make a mistake and you accidentally paste it and it still doesn't get there, so you never know. I mean, so for new people in the space, it can be very, very daunting, very terrifying. But you're 100% spot on. That's another issue with the mainstream adoption, which is why when these guys go public, eToro, Coinbase, and all of those, their platform needs to be mainstream.
Custody, man. I was always, look at this. Wooden Boat says, yeah, Chip, like the people that carry that paper utility bill to pay at the bank,
That's
it's
right.
like, here it's the supermarket. They take it in there. I always like when somebody, like, I'm trying to cash out. I usually use my phone because it's super fast. You go bloop, and there's somebody signing a check, and they are signing their name like it's on the Declaration of Independence, like it's going to be viewed 300 years from now. I remember back in the day, they go, can you sign this? And I would just write a big X, and they go, really? I'm like, is there an official checker? Who's going to bust me? I put an X on there. I'm like, you don't know my name. You don't know what my signature looks like.
Yeah,
so I'd always put an X on it and like give it back to them. They're like, they get this like sad face. And like, meanwhile, I have a lady, she's like, that's her first name. And she goes to the middle initial and then the big finish with her big swirly. And I'm like, lady, I just got 2 items here. I want to get out of here. It's like she won't let me. She won't let me go.
I don't even have a checkbook. I don't even. Well, I had checks for ages.
Jeff, I had to explain that to somebody today. I said I was on a call and I go. So what's the thing with payment? They go, well, just I'm like I haven't had checks for years. And I go, what do you mean? How do you pay bills? I go, I've been paying everything online. I don't get checks anymore. She goes, you don't have a check? I go, no. So she was like, she didn't know what to say, right? And it's a younger kid.
People think it's weird.
Yeah, it's a service, and they're like, but can you? I go, can you send me something like an email? Can you? Oh, I can send you a payment. I'm like, well, then send it to me. So she sends it to me, ends up in my email. I click, and then boom, there it is, Jeff. I'd made the payment. It was already done. It wasn't a big deal. But she was like, and so then I went up and I spun up a couple virtual cards for her. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? I'm spinning up a virtual card for you. She goes, what? And I can tell it's a young kid because of the way they speak. It's like, she's like, what do you mean? I go, what's this, a credit card? She goes, is it like a Visa or MasterCard? I go, yeah, it's like a MasterCard. I'm going to give you the number and everything else. And she's like, okay. But it was like, she didn't understand the whole check thing. Go ahead, take that one, Jeff.
Hey, I want to see, give some feedback to this. But I have this belief that Ripple is using this lawsuit to conceal the fact they have no adoption. New coins and use cases popping up daily, getting mainstream adoption, but not XRP. Think VET, ETH, Top Shot. I'm not familiar with Top Shot, but comment on that one because is Ripple using the lawsuit to conceal, or is the lawsuit, somebody else had commented earlier, I thought it was Organic FUD that made that comment, maybe not, but is the SEC using the lawsuit in order to delay the fact that they don't have anything figured out, that Congress doesn't have anything figured out, and that Ripple is really on, they're onto something, and they're the ones that are leading the charge in the space with real world utility. It's just that you have an obstacle, and that obstacle is whether or not XRP is a security or not. It's something that's been hanging in the background for a while with the banks, but they've been building in this space, getting banks on their RippleNet platform, getting ready to roll out ODL. Japan is starting to experiment with ODL. Japan is experimenting with XRP, and we're starting to see the actual use case within the financial space utilizing XRP over there. And we're starting to see all the rails being built. Rome wasn't built in it, overnight. And here's a perfect example of it takes time to roll out software platforms like this, plus to have people get used to, and by people, I'm referring to those that are in charge at the bank level, get used to using a new type of technology. So this is all before all of these other projects have rolled out. Is XRP being held back? But I think there are multiple elements to this. What are your thoughts?
My frozen thoughts are this. No,
frozen thoughts. Yes.
Well, here's what I would say.
Sped up thoughts.
Yeah, I don't know. It's this new version of Chrome. Ever since I did the update, it's been bedlam, horrible, man. What I think is along the same lines of what you're saying. Quite honestly, I don't think it comes down to no adoption. I think that everybody's been afraid. Especially U.S. You saw that interview with David Schwartz and Tony from Thinking Crypto, where he said, the U.S. customers and their banking customers are really afraid to do business because they're afraid of getting zapped. They don't want to get punched. They don't want to get have somebody come down on them. So the whole idea is that the fastest way you can get to, some sort of a decision wasn't Congress and wasn't the SEC figuring it out. It was dropping a lawsuit. That I still say that that's the fastest way to get there and to clear everything up. It's going to get cleared up this year sometime. Just my thought on it.
Nice. Hey, sign this, please.
Thank you,
Wooden Boat. Nice, nice support. Bounce out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here.
There you go.
There you go.
Man, this new browser, I knew I shouldn't have updated, man.
Bounce out and come back in.
Let me try to do that. Hang on.
You're out of here. Kick him out of here. You're out. You're out. The Brave browser. The Brave browser would be good. He should try the Brave browser and see if that has any impact. The software that we use may or may not be 100% compatible with Brave, but Chip, you might want to try using Brave and see if
I'm going to try using Brave
any better.
Yeah, because
see how that works, and it could be a little bit better for you. Hey, if you're brand new to the channel here and you haven't seen that big red subscribe button that hangs out just below the video, make sure you click it, and that'll get you to subscribe to the channel. You get tons of great content like this. We are live streaming Sunday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and on Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we also have a podcast. You can go into the description below, or you can go to otc.one/podcast and you'll check out our podcast. If you go to otc.one/meetup, you can actually go and register for our second sponsored, we're sponsoring on the chain virtual meetup, which is awesome. March 28th at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check it out. Apex Crypto can vouch for how great the first one was. Apex was there. He had a phenomenal time. So make sure you guys go check that out as well.
There it is right there. You just click this register for event and boom, you can log in with Apple, Facebook, whatever you want. Google, go log in there and then set it up there, and it's coming up 10 days and 12 hours and 5 minutes and 11 seconds. How do you like that?
Nice. I like the countdown. That's awesome. And Apex said he's going to be there again. So that's going to be phenomenal. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, I want to see some new folks up there as well. I'm going to go ahead and drop this puppy into the chat right here. There it is. OTC.1/meetup. Oh, when I say OTC.one1, there it is. You guys can see that. So just click on that meetup. Go ahead. It takes 3 seconds. Register for it. And the schedule is going to be, starts off at 9. You're going to have like a virtual, we consider like virtual tables. And we move around. Jeff and I will be there. Be some other folks there as well. We're trying to line up some other people. We do a little speaker, like lasts a little bit of time. We go back to meeting people. And bring your favorite beverage. Jeff and I will probably be drinking our favorite coffees, but since it'll be morning. But guys, come in there. It was a lot of fun last time. There were some really amazing conversations. We do not record it. So whatever you guys say, it's all, it's real time. That's it.
That's right. And the great part about it, you get to hang out at tables. You can move around in the tables. You can take a seat at the table, and it's going to be limited, like 6 to 8 people per table. So it's a small group. It's not like you're there with 100 people at once, but it's a lot of fun. Yeah. Are we going to have one that's later? We're trying to get it, Channing. We were going to do 10 a.m., but then it's too late for people over in Europe. So we're trying to do something that would, because we stream at 8 p.m. and then it's really late for, people outside of the US. So we try to do something with a meetup. If you can get up early that day, it's 6 a.m. your time. So it'd be a nice time for you to get up bright and early. If you can do that. I know you probably work late. So.
Yeah, this is a very good one by Cermac. This is, hey, we all want to win. Just hodl community, XRP strong. Don't miss out on Flare to get dropped. You get your Spark token. Just make sure to buy on BitTrue. But the thing is, so if you guys were there by the snapshot, there's still a lot of people that I'm finding out. And there was one last week, I'm not going to mention any names, Jeff, who still hadn't gone through and hooked up, but I finally went through it. And it's actually pretty easy. So it just was a matter. I had to do some firmware updates and a bunch of other crap first and then when I finally got there, it was actually fairly easy to set up. But guys, don't miss that, because I think we talk enough about Flare and you go like, oh, I'll do it next week, and then if you miss it, you're just going to be crushed, because whatever it is, it's kind of cool too, because you see that when you set it up, there's organic FUD. Thank you very much for the $5. I appreciate that. Jeff appreciates that. We love you, man. And I could use a Corona right about now. But anyway, meet up on the moon. Let's do that, baby. Yeah, I'll be there, Jeff. If Jeff makes the coffee. Channing, you gotta be there, bro. You have to be there. I'll
do it.
You are like the friend of the show, man. You've been on I think more than almost anybody else out there. You have to be there.
I'm gonna fly out to California just to make sure you're at the meetup.
6 a.m., man. 6 a.m. in the morning.
On your door. Yeah.
There's a lot of people from Cali that come in here. I know GDLT, he's going to be like, what the hell? I'm not getting up that early. That's crazy talk. But, you can always bounce in like at 7 and you'll still be there, because it's like from 9 to 11. So you can kind of bounce in a little bit later. But, listen, meet up with people, man. I'll tell you, there were so many cool conversations. They went all kinds of directions. I went into all kinds of things. I loved it, man. It's really great. We love meeting you guys. It's a chance for you guys to see each other. It's like, hey, check this out. Take a sip of that whiskey for me. I'll pick up some time, but over the years, been whiskey drink. Yeah, I see whiskey and I throw that out there. I used to drink Crown frequently. Yeah, I like a whiskey drink and then a lager drink. The whole I get knocked down, but I get up again. Remember that?
Nice.
Tub Thumping or whatever that song was? That was a great song.
Yeah, I do remember that. Who was that? It
was Tub Thumping, I think it was called. That was the name of the song. I don't remember who it was, but
I remember that. It
was like Oh Danny Boy, so it's kind of like a whole drinking sort of a song.
No, I like it.
Yeah, it was all right. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, guys, please.
You know what? Tomorrow night is Thursday. Can you
it
believe
is
that
Thursday.
It's Thursday.
Hard to
We're going to
believe.
be right here at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, looking forward to it too. These go by so fast. You guys are really appreciate the support. Everybody coming in here, making your opinions known. Guys, don't put it off registering for that thing. Go on there right now and click in there and go ahead and register. I mean, for real. Let me throw it in there one more time. I want everyone to sit there and I want you to register. Go ahead. It takes you like 2 seconds. Get it scheduled, put it on your radar, and I'd love to see you at that. We do have a cap, so get in early. So, and that's it. That's all I have. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. We'll be back tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Jeff will be here doing the HODL review at 8 a.m. on Saturday morning. Then we'll be back at it on Sunday at from 8 p.m. to 9-ish, Sunday through Thursday once again. Awesome. And that's it. Anything, Jeff?
That's it. See you tomorrow night.
See you on the next one, guys.
Awesome.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.